to get away from line matchups?
Well, it's pretty hard, Gary, if you watch the game closely, and they double shift LaFontaine. It's pretty hard to either sit Nedved out for the entire night or get him the experience and play him. On the road, often I'll take him off and face-offs in our zone, but I think if you have to match lines for 80 games, you're not going anywhere.
I wanted to...
You have anything to say about that?
He's remarkably polite, you see, Gary. If you watch the game closely, I'd have been accused of going across the street for a hamburger.
I was going to say, was he inferring that I don't watch the game closely? Listen, you've been very patient with referees, I thought, over the past little while, and until the end of tonight's game, you seem to get a little bit upset, but why the sudden turnaround in your attitude with referees?
Well, I just try to ignore them. I have enough problems, and you know what happened tonight? The play on Lidster was unbelievable. Like the player that he slashed was holding his stick with his, right in front of him. He held his stick for a good 10 seconds. At the start of the next period, I was polite. I called him over, asked to talk to him. I said, why did you give him 2 for slashing in a 10-minute misconduct when he was holding his stick for 10 minutes? I went and watched the tape. He said, I was letting that go at both ends of the rink, so I didn't call it. Now that is we just got a bulletin 2 weeks ago from Jim Gregory saying they were going to call, you couldn't hold on to players' sticks, they were going to call that penalty. But they all have their own little rule book, and they all call it differently, and that's what frustrates people.
Not the same as the one I got. This rule book they use isn't the same as the one I got.
And that's the frustrating part, and inconsistency of your team is frustrating enough, but when you get a different referee every night, like Andy Van Hulleman believes the puck should never be frozen, and you should never stop for fights or anything, just play. This guy, he's got his own rule book. So that's the frustrating part, but we got through it. We got 2 points, and now we have to hope that Calgary comes in here flat.
Is there any way of correcting that problem that you mentioned with the referees? What can you do? Should the linesman, for example, be calling penalties or helping the referee out, or some method of improving the refereeing?
It's pretty hard. I think they have a tough job, and that's why I try to lay off them. You try to be human, but I really don't think that there's an answer. Hockey's been going on 100 years, and the same problems exist. As far as untouchables, I don't think we have a lot of them.
One.
Huh?
One, maybe?
I said a lot.
Okay. I can think of one.
Can you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good, Dave.
He's your leading goal scorer.
I can think of 3 or 4. You can think of 1.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, so we could make a trade, perhaps. Could you, this is Kelly Wood from Surrey.
You'd be like Phil Esposito as a GM, wouldn't you? You'd just be wheeling them in and out, wouldn't you?
That's all right. You see, I don't have any stats you can fool around with like that.
Yes, I do. CBC. What's the name of that other? I got some stats.
Global. How many...
Hey, we won't talk about global. We can't talk about global, so we'll leave that alone.
How many teams have I been with?
Just the right amount.
Okay. I'm kind of getting shoved to the side of this one, too, it looks like. But anyway, Kelly Wood from Surrey, could you please say 3 positive things about NHL referees?
They get a good salary, they have a good pension, and they all have nice hair.
Now that's with no...
I'll see you Monday.
You've got to choose a winner, Bob.
That's with absolutely no prompting at all, right? Straight off the cuff. And if I had a pension, I'd think you were talking about me, Bob.
Okay. Well, let's Gary pick put a little pressure on him. Let him pick the winner.
All right.
I like the last one, the one about the referees. Who was that one from?
Try mine, too, if you want.
I would say from a physical standpoint, the Flames took advantage of us tonight. We had Sandlack out. I didn't dress Smeal, which could have been a mistake. Cox, he's just getting over. He has an ear infection. And we probably missed the big guys tonight because they certainly took some liberties on some of our forwards, but that's why they have a referee. And when he sees this stuff, he's supposed to call it, and I thought he was atrocious tonight. And I very seldom blame a referee for a game, but I thought he was out of control tonight. He had no idea why he was out there tonight.
And you're just getting warmed up for Wednesday because you know who's coming then.
Yeah, I know Andy, isn't he?
Yep.
It's just like sitting up here with you and Mondo. They just double team you, one after the other.
Listen, Bob, in particular, I thought Brian Bradley got worked over by the Calgary Flames tonight, and I thought that was to be expected before the game. What do you say to the troops in the room? If one of our little forwards is getting worked over, how do you want the rest of the team to react?
Well, who would you like me to send after?
Cox?
Oh, wait a minute. Now I ask you a question. Who? There you go. I think...
You say
wait a minute. I think you're misleading courage and toughness. Courage and toughness doesn't necessarily mean going banging people, taking their heads off. Courage and toughness is skating through a check. It was 4-4 after 2. They got the break. Let's not flaunt Calgary's victory. They were lucky tonight.
Do you want Bradley going back at them the way he did? Is that?
Well, it's Doug Gilmour. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Well, it was Bradley. It was Gilmour for a while, and
then it was Fleury.
And then it was Bradley.
Well, I mean, who? Do you
then
think
it was Bradley in the penalty box.
But Fleury's going to manhandle people? Come on.
I think the point is that Bradley seemed to get frustrated, in fairness, and took a couple of penalties for doing it, and he's your
Well, if you think the second penalty was a penalty, then we got a big problem. That was a brutal call. The first penalty, yes, Fleury took one, then he took one, but the third one was just, there was no call for it. The referee wasn't in the game, that's all. And it happens. We had players not in the game, and certainly, as I say, in the third period, they got the break. But let's not give Calgary... why do we have to give the other team credit all night?
Because they scored more goals than you did.
I see.
And they're ahead of you in the standings, and I think they're a good team.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you move to Calgary then?
No, Is it as simple as that?
It's that simple. That's where we differ. I can't stand Calgary. You like them.
But, Bob, in fairness, we either give Calgary credit or we knock the Canucks after a loss. We're trying to give credit to Calgary.
You what you do, you knock them all during the game, and then you give Calgary credit after. I got your act. It's all right.
Bob, if you want me to move to a place that has a team higher in the standings than you, it ain't going to be Calgary. I'm going to L.A., all right?
I thought you were going to say back to Toronto.
No. They're too far down in the standings, and don't get into the situation.
Well, next time we play a bad team, I want you to tell me, all right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I thought you played a bad team the other night.
Who was that?
The Islanders.
Oh, yeah.
And you beat them.
And they beat Calgary twice in a week.
Mm-hmm. Which team would you rather coach, the Islanders or the Flames?
I'd rather coach the Islanders.
Well, Bob?
I can't stand Calgary. I don't like their players. I don't like anything about them.
Okay.
Bob, on a positive note, I thought Robert Cron played a heck of a game, and I hope he's finally coming around where he's going to put some stats on the board.
Okay, that was good. Now, what about he scored an unbelievable goal. Now, what about the late hit? Was that a penalty? Hitting from behind. Now, wait a minute. After a guy scored, there should have been a 5-minute major.
Suter coming in and hitting him into the board.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, sure. I could see at least a 2-minute penalty on that, sure.
Okay.
I'm glad you're not talking about the officials. This is
okay. Good.
But you're happy with the progress of Robert Cron, obviously. After
I think he plays very hard every night. I think he'll just get better as time goes on. The number of games are going to be tough on him, but we're just using killing penalties, no power plays, and regular shifts, so maybe he can last. But he is an exciting player to watch.
Perhaps on a lighter note, R. Smith wants to know, how was the ballet the other night?
None of their business.
See, he is up. Now, hold on.
Let me tell you. Ballet type.
This question didn't say how was the ballet the other night. It said how was the ballet. Maybe he meant tonight.
Let me just say this. It was very relaxing. It was very good.
All right, so you enjoyed the ballet.
I did, yes.
Okay, here's, we probably covered this, but nonetheless...
Want to know what I had for dinner, too, last night, or what?
Well, R. Smith, where are you out there?
Hope it agreed with you more than what you had tonight.
Here's a question from Chris Sinclair. Is there the same pay bonus in Garth Butcher's contract if he wins the Norris Trophy that Al McInnes has? $150,000 bonus. I know you don't make up the bonuses in the contract.
I would say they could give it to him, and they'd be pretty safe.
4 goals, though. He's among your most dangerous scorers.
I'll tell you one thing.
Now, I don't know why they laughed at that. That was a serious comment.
I know.
Meant to elicit a serious response, and your friends laughed.
He's a fierce competitor, and he's a great defenseman, and I think he's great for our hockey team. But
so throw the bonus.
The Norris Trophy is a little ways away.
Will McInnes win it, do you think?
Well, I hope not, but he probably will. He's a great player. I mean, in all fairness, he can shoot the puck, and he does a lot of things. He's a good player.
And if I'd said that...
Well, I'd agree with you.
I guess I'll have to say it to find out. Anyway, you don't think much of the Flames, and you're not going to be...
Well, there's some teams you get to dislike for different reasons, and they're one team that I really dislike.
And the reasons are?
Well, the 20 players that play for him, the coaches, everybody else. I just don't like them.
All right. That's fair. I guess you're not going to dislike.
I don't like Chicago, and they're coming Wednesday, so think about that.
Well, you won't mind them if you beat them.
No.
The results have something to do with your disposition,
They do,
I think.
they do.
Yep. Okay, the feeling had been that he might be liable to a 10-game suspension. We're now told that that probably is not the case.
No, he did not call Rule 66. That was not a Rule 66.
What was it?
I want to ask you, in Toronto, was Dan Maruelli your neighbor?
Dan Maruelli.
Yeah, the referee. Was he your neighbor
Was
in
he my
Toronto?
neighbor?
Yeah.
What,
He's got to be
what
from
does
Toronto.
that have to do with anything?
Well, I just thought you Toronto guys stick together.
Oh, I see. I see. Well, if we do, then he's my neighbor here, Bob.
Okay. No, what happened was we had the same incident happen in St. Louis, and we got a warning. Gino went out in the last minute, and it was a line change. It has to be on a line change or an extra man on the ice. When it's 5 against 5, that rule does not kick in. They'd like to put it in, but they can't. So.
Well, what did he get the game misconduct for then?
Well, you'd have to ask him. How would I know?
But I'm sure you did.
Huh?
I'm sure
you
you
wouldn't
did.
tell me. He just said he's out of here.
He's out of here.
He's out of here.
That's in here somewhere, that rule.
He's out of here. But
he's out of here rule.
He's out of here.
All right. Well, he was out of here. There's no doubt about that.
But he, as
long as he's not out of here 10 more times.
If he came on the ice during an altercation or during a line change and started the altercation, then you're suspect to this Rule 66. But when you line up 5 against 5, I think the other guy instigated the fight anyways, if they've watched it closely on the replay. So there's no problem.
Would you tell Gino perhaps to be safe, let the puck hit the ice?
Well, we told him going out, Gino, let the puck hit the ice, but he didn't have time. He lost sight. I think the referee, the linesman's back was to him. He couldn't see where the puck was.
He heard, if you told him let the puck hit the ice, the only word he would have heard was hit. And that explains the rest of it.
But he's a lot of fun, isn't he?
Well, listen. I can take a cue. It's time now to announce the Pacific GMC Most Aggressive Player Award for the most aggressive Canuck of this game, as selected by team management following each Canucks game. Sing along with me, Bob. Canuck player singled out for his aggressive play throughout the game. Tonight's Pacific GMC Award winner is... There it is, and he's eligible to win a new GM tracker or other light vehicle from Pacific GMC at the conclusion of the regular season based on his aggressive play throughout the year. Congratulations to Gino Hodge, who was out of here but stuck around to win the Pacific GMC Most Aggressive Player Award. Gary, sorry.
That's okay.
He didn't even get a full game in. He won that award.
That's right.
Bob, at the time, I was critical of Maruelli for not calling penalties just before Gino came on the ice. There were 2 seconds left. Obviously, a skirmish involving Stan Smeal, and yet I think that Maruelli may have been able to keep things under control had he called penalties then.
Well, I think he missed the boat right off the bat when he had the fight with Ramage. McGuire started that fight and then jumped in there. He should have been thrown out then, in my mind.
Well, he went to the penalty box. He thought he was getting a penalty at least, and then he came out of the penalty box and got nothing.
On the other hand...
That throws them off when they go to the box, so they say, no, I don't want him in there. How about the too many men on the ice? What do you think of that?
It was. I didn't get a replay on it, I must admit. It was a gutsy call, I thought, at that time of the game. But
what, a Bob to send out 7 guys?
But I didn't see it clearly, I must admit.
Well, there were only 5 guys on the ice, but if Randy can make 6 out of 5, good luck. Randy Mitten.
All right, it wound up good in the end from the official standpoint where you were concerned, because you did get a power play goal. All the fans here want to congratulate Trevor Linden for shooting the puck, and I'm sure you don't mind it either.
Well, I think the key, it was a good shot, but the key on the power play in that situation was Gary Volk. He took a lot of punishment in front of the net, and that's something that really hurts our power plays. We don't seem to arrive there at the right time, so that's something. We worked on the power play yesterday for a half hour, so tomorrow we'll take it off.
Well, Volk was so good in front of
any worse.
He was so good in front of the net that a lot of people thought it might have been his goal.
Yeah, he did a great job. No question.
Did you intend to play him tonight?
Yes, I did. Except Bradley said he felt very well, and Bradley's played very well, so I left him in. And probably in Winnipeg, he'll take somebody's spot at center ice.
What about the possibility of 2 weeks in Milwaukee? Well,
you have to fake an injury to do that. And that's what the other teams are doing, but our management are too honorable.
All right.